I mean, you got to train, you got to retrain, man. You can't come and do a martial arts class, seminar, a course, and then you just stop because you're not going to stay proficient. You want to be proficient, then it's about training and retraining. Hello, welcome to the Martial Arts Lifestyle. I'm James Cox, and we are in episode number 71. Today's just a solo. I want to kind of go off a very popular saying that I often hear, and it's stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So how do we stay ready so we don't have to get ready? And how can we do this? I want to kind of go off a couple different perspectives. Of course, in the martial arts world, and then we can look at that in the business world, and we look at that in just life in general, you know. But it's definitely easier to maintain things than it is to always start over, right? You know, and then you can maintain, then you can tighten up when it's time to get serious for something, right? With little details, but at least you're at a good starting point. You're not starting from the bottom every single time. And we see people doing this in martial arts and business and life. Inch by inch is a cinch, right? Yard by yard is just too hard. So let's talk about martial arts. The thing that comes to my mind first is the element of surprise. My instructor would talk to us about the way of the invisible snapping fist. And there was a lot of philosophy behind this, which is really that martial arts in general is somewhat invisible, at least on the outside. You know, it's not as obvious from a distance when you look at a person, you know, like a bodybuilder. That dude's a bodybuilder. A basketball player, usually pretty tall. That guy probably plays basketball. But what does a martial artist look like? Now, I see a lot of resemblance in good martial artists, some similar things. They're the confidence. You know, their head is up, their chest is out. You know, see a little more charisma here and there with some, maybe not all. But really is, what does a martial artist look like? You don't always know. It could be a kid, a woman, a man. It could be all ages and sizes and types. And the element of surprise can serve them in a self-defense situation where they may have been thought of as a victim, and you don't really know what that person knows by looking at them on the outside. I see the things on the news. I get calls, you know, of bad situations, tragedy, if it's an assault, a rape, or murder, things that have happened. And, you know, unfortunately, that's over and that's done, and I'm empathetic of those situations. But we want to kind of think about if it was going to be a next time or even from the beginning, you know, what can we do to be more prepared, basically. You know, when you look at martial arts, it's training. I mean, you got to train, you got to retrain. Man, you can't come and do a martial arts class, seminar, a course, and then you just stop because you're not going to stay proficient. You want to be proficient, then it's about training and retraining. The two words are persistent and consistent, you know. I mean, but you really don't have to put as much in it as some people think when you're maintaining your martial arts skill twice a week. You can do something like martial arts for 1 hour twice a week and be okay with it. Yeah, definitely. You can maintain a good level. You want more proficiency. You want to excel and accelerate your learning. Then you go to 3 times a week, you know, but it doesn't have to be your entire life. That's just an important part, you know. So adrenal stress is a real thing in a real life situation. And if you train hard and strong and you go through stress drills, you're at the right martial arts academy where they're training you strong, you know, you're sweating, right? And you go through some stress related drills where you have some resistance with a partner, and that prepares you a little more for that element of surprise. And they're just, again, keeping you ready where things are going to work for you. In martial arts, we got people that are competing. If it's any sort of karate or boxing or MMA, if it's light contact or full contact, if you're competing, you're going to do much better year-round by staying ready. Now, there's a such thing as staying ready and then getting in fight shape. So we have camps. We have, you know, your fight camp. If it's 8 weeks out, now it's time to really tighten up and get serious and put a lot more into it. But, you know, like I said earlier, man, it's easier to start at a good starting point and then elevate the training versus start from the bottom. I've seen it. I've seen the fighters that are good fighters, but when they don't have a fight coming up, they're not training. They're overweight. They're slow, they're, you know, distracted, and then all of a sudden, yeah, you want to fight in, you know, a couple weeks or a couple months, and they say, yeah, and now they're like, it's like cramming for a test a little too late when you could have been studying throughout, right? So did you prepare correctly and, you know, not have to just cram and just stress yourself? That's hard on your body as well. to go from those extremes to extremes like that. And, you see fighters do that, and you see a lot of those guys that end up having shorter careers or, even creating injuries. So you're going to create more injuries when you have to put so much strain on your body because you weren't prepared enough, and now you're trying to overwork. Overwork is a real thing, and can create burnout and all of those things like we've talked about before. So train, retrain, be prepared for competitions, belt testing, demonstrations. If you're a student, if you're an instructor, if you're a speaker, or just everywhere else, I just recommend that you try to maintain and stay ready. So that's the martial arts world. Let's kind of move on into the business world. And it could be you as an employee at your job working, or it could be owner and operator of your own business, or something that you aspire to do in the future, right? First thing that comes to mind on that is something that I've heard, and it was the 6 P's of success. Prior proper planning prevents poor performance. I do have to say I ran into a guy once, and he was like a old school military guy, right? And he corrected me and said, James, there's not 6 P's of success, there's 7. So I'm like, okay. And he had to add to that, prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Yeah, okay, I see what he's saying. It's not what you do, it's how you do it, right? So you could practice, or you could practice the right way. But in business, follow those 6 P's or 7 P's if you want to go there. And it's really about kind of having your systems in place. Why reinvent the wheel? This kind of gets to preparing, having some consulting, knowing what you're going to go into. Do you know all the things that entails to open the business, your startup packages, to then once it's open. And I think you can do this where you're always role playing. You're always role playing if it's how you answer the phone, or how you deal with customer service or sales. Heck, how you open the building and close it, how you train and retrain staff, employees, and even yourself. So to stay prepared in the business world is to stay sharp, and you got to think about it, man. Someone's after you. If it's your competition, or if it's even yourself, because you want to become a better version of yourself, right? So we can become a better version of ourselves by staying sharp. Keep your sword sharp, right? And then maybe tighten up when it's time there. And in business and work, man, we got to work hard. You got to put in some of that struggle and that time and effort. You got to hustle and grind. And I think we can do this with working a little harder now, so maybe you don't have to work as hard later. See, there's actually some planning for retirement, if you wanted to go that far, or just thinking about the sacrifices we go through. When someone gets a college degree, they got to go through a little bit of temporary sacrifice for a permanent gain. In the business world, you have to do that, I clocked in and I'm still on the clock. So you're just always kind of working, but it should be temporary for a more permanent gain. And then you start learning and preparing in the business world to have team, to have yourself around the right people. The whole thing about you're more close to the 5 people that you're around the most, right? So are you surrounding yourself with the right people, the people that can inspire you and motivate you, and can help you as well, right? And the strength in numbers, being with the right people, it just kind of goes on and on with things that we have there, and just being able to delegate as well. So I say, and I've heard before, that maybe you should hire some people that are smarter than you, or maybe that can do things that are not your strong point, right? So in business, we want to have the right people on the bus, the wrong people off, and then you get the right people in all their right seats. So who's doing the right jobs and this and that. If you're doing that, then you're maintaining, and you're always ready. You're ready to grow. You're ready to learn and improve. So we got martial arts, we got business, and what about life? Thing that comes to my mind in life, and as far as staying ready, is opportunity and intuition and inspiration. Trying, retrying, and then trying differently, right? So we talk about how opportunity knocks, and you hear that knock on the door, that that nudge. Did you take advantage of it? Did you try it? Because sometimes opportunities are there and then they're gone. So to have regrets is because you didn't take advantage of a good opportunity. And maybe you didn't even know it was going to be a good opportunity, but you don't know until you try. So that inspiration is to is to trust a little bit of your own senses and to get out there and to try. And when you feel that something comes your way, then, go for it. I mean, we don't want to give up. We don't want to quit, but we can try, and we try again, and then maybe we find a different way. But it's an important thing to do there. It always goes back to, as well as in life and staying ready, is to keep yourself full. If it's your mind, your body, your spirit, just to continue to be aware and to have self-knowledge so that you can improve yourself. What are you doing on the regular? Are you reading? Are you writing? Are you going to courses and seminars? And are you around the right people to grow yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all of those ways that can make the complete package? We say in martial arts, Kajukembo motto is to train and labor and strive for the purity of the mind, body, and spirit, and to make that complete package of things. And when you can do that, then you can fill yourself, so then you can help other people. And there's a great service in servicing others, giving back, and that good attitude of gratitude, and just from the inside wanting the best for everybody. And it's just little things that help us live this life that we have and the time that we have and make the best of it, right? So think about it. Think about it for yourself, and just continue to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. The should-have, could-have thing is a bad epidemic. I think it was Tony Robbins who said there are 7 days in a week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But someday is not one of those days where you say, well, someday I'm going to get around to going to the gym. Someday I'm going to change my diet. Someday I'm going to get a new job. Someday I'm going to open that new business and change the world. Someday? Let's do it now. Today is the time. All right, guys, thanks. Be sure you check out all of our episodes on the podcast channel as well as our YouTube channel, James Cox Martial Arts. Thanks.